Okay, guys, for discussion E, we are discussing California's End of Life Care Act. Okay, to support patients and families, the page points toward official state resources, including forms, reporting requirements, and detailed procedural guidance from California Department of Public Health. It also references local and nonprofit organizations that help families navigate the process, offering assistance with paperwork, connecting them with participating clinicians, and helping coordinate care. The overall aim is to ensure that legal clarity when the act procedures are followed. The cause of death is recorded as the underlying terminal illness, not suicide or homicide. This distinction matters for families, estates, and insurance considerations. When the act's procedures are followed, the cause of death is recorded as the underlying terminal illness, not suicide or homicide. This distinction matters for families, estates, insurance considerations. The tone is practical and compassionate, acknowledging both the emotional weight of these decisions and the importance of understanding the law clearly. The page also highlights the lived realities of navigating the act. Clinician participation is optional. Not all physicians or health systems participate, which means families may need to ask early and sometimes seek out supportive providers. It is one option, not the only one. The page encourages patients to explore hospice, palliative care, and symptom management strategies alongside ELOA, reinforcing that the law is part of a larger landscape of care. Health creating a transparent record of compliance, revocability. Patients may withdraw their request at any point, even after the participation has been written, prescription has been written. The law emphasizes that the choice must remain voluntary until the very end. This structure is meant to protect both patient and clinicians, ensuring that the process is thoughtful, transparent, and ethically sound. Practical implications for patients and families. Two oral requests and one written request. These must be separate by a legally mandated writing period or waiting period, giving patients time to reflect and reconsider. Confirmation by two physicians. Both must independently verify the diagnosis, prognosis, and the patient's capacity to make medical decisions. Documentation and reporting. Physicians must complete specific forms and submit them to the California Department of Public Health. May administer under any circumstances. The criteria are presented as essential guardrails that ensure the law is used by those for whom it is intended. Required steps and safeguards. The surrounding page lays out a deliberate multi-step process that patients must follow. These steps are not bureaucratic hurdles. They are built-in protections designed to ensure clarity, voluntariness, and informed consent. Older adults who can demonstrate residency in the state, terminal illness. Two physicians must agree that the individual has a prognosis of 6 months or less to live. Decision-making capacity. The person must be able to understand their diagnosis, the nature of the request, and the potential risks and outcomes and the alternatives. Voluntary self-administration. The medication must be taken by the patient themselves, no one else. Layers of protection. The act is framed as a compassionate response to suffering, but one that is balanced by rigorous oversight, documentation, and ethical safeguards. Who is eligible? The page underscores that eligibility is intentionally narrow, reflecting the seriousness of the decision and the need to prevent misuse. To qualify, a person must meet all of the following: adult California resident. The law applies only to individuals 18 or okay. Purpose of the act. At its core, the End of Life Option Act. It is designed to give terminally ill adults the ability to decide with intention and clarity how they want their final days to unfold. The law permits eligible individuals to request a prescription for medication that they may choose to ingest to hasten death, but only under strict conditions. The surrounding page emphasizes that this is not a casual or loosely regulated option. It is a carefully constructed legal pathway meant to honor patient autonomy while embedding multiple functions. As a gateway into a clear, accessible explanation of how the act works, why it exists, and how it fits into the broader constellation of end of life choices available in the state. The page treats the act not as an isolated legal mechanism, but one option within a continuum that includes hospice, palliative care, pain management, and other comfort focused approaches. Its purpose is to help patients and families understand the law in a grounded, humane way. What it allows, what it requires, and how it can support autonomy at the end of life. Compassionate Care of California, UCLA Medical Center. If you want, I can turn this into a plain language step-by-step guide for patients, a one-page checklist to print and bring to appointments, or a short fax tailored to specific hospital or county with the headline signals on the page. End of Life Option Act introduces a section meant to orient readers to one of California's most carefully structured end-of-life laws on the surrounding page. This heading quick practical checklist for families. Talk early with the patient's primary clinician about prognosis and all comfort focused options. Coalition for Compassionate Care of California. Confirm eligibility and whether the clinician or facility will participate. Request help from local organizations for paperwork, care coordination, and emotional supports. Guidance and official updates. California Department of Public Health. Local support and education. Organizations such as the Coalition for Compassionate Care of California, and major health systems, UCLA, Kaiser, provide plain language guides, faxes, and navigation help for patients and families. Due to the underlying terminal illness, when the statute is properly followed. Access varies by provider and facility policy. Families should ask early whether a clinician or health system participates and where to find supportive services, where to get help and reliable information. State resources. The California Department of Public Health maintains forms and reporting. Voluntary participation for clinicians and systems. Participation is optional for patients, physicians, and pharmacists, and health systems. No one can be forced to take parts. Legal and practical notes. Families should know. Not treated as criminal suicide when the law steps are followed. This are recorded as the underlying terminal illness, folks. Requirements, steps, and safeguards. Multiple requests and waiting periods. The law requires 2 oral requests and 1 written request, plus a statutory waiting periods and opportunities to rescind the request. Physician confirmation and documentation. 2 physicians must confirm eligibility and follow the statute, documentation, and reporting rules. Physicians submit forms to the California Department of Health. Guys, when people do medical assisted dying, they have to have the capacity to take the medication themselves. They have to understand their illness, and they have to do the documentation just as requested by states, because every state has different ways of doing the end of life terminal care for someone. So medical condition must have a terminal diagnosis with a prognosis of 6 months or less. Capacity, voluntariness must retain decision-making capacity, making the required oral and written requests, and be able to self-administer the medication. Key facts about End of Life Options Act for patients and families. What the law does. ELOA allows eligible California adults to request a prescription for a life-ending medication to be self-administered when they have a terminal illness and meet the law's requirements. Who is eligible? Age and residency must be a California resident and 18 years old. No one has to navigate the act alone. Support exists at every step. This section, taken together, is meant to empower readers with knowledge, reduce confusion, and help families make decisions that align with their values, needs, and hopes for the final chapter of life. Okay, guys, that is it for tonight. I will see everybody tomorrow for shows. For now, Gator Wellness, take care, folks.